I'm not coming home. Michael. I blinked. What do you mean you're not coming home? I've been seeing someone else. The silence on the line pressed into my ears. Who? She hesitated. David. I couldn't breathe. David, my best friend David. I didn't plan it, she said, her voice cracking. It just happened. I swallowed hard. You're telling me this now? I thought it was time you knew. I hung up. My hands were shaking and my throat was dry. 2 hours later, my phone buzzed again. Michael, David said, calm as ever. I wanted you to hear it from me too. You're marrying her? I whispered. We didn't mean to hurt you. You didn't mean to? I laughed, sharp and cold. You took my fiancée and threw away 10 years of friendship. She chose me, he said. That one hit harder than anything. I dropped the phone and stared at the engagement ring on the table. The same one I spent weeks picking out. The same one she wore when she promised forever. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just sat. The hours blurred. The walls felt closer. My chest burned. But I didn't make a sound. James showed up without me calling. You all right, man? I looked at him. She's gone with David. He blinked. What the hell? David. You're David. I nodded once. That's messed up. She said she's marrying him. James paced. I swear if I ever see that. It won't change anything, I said. They made their choice. James stared at me. You're just calm. I'm empty. He looked down at the ring. You keeping that? I didn't answer. Hours passed. I stared at the ceiling. My phone buzzed again. A picture of Emily and David, matching smiles, engagement announcement. James snatched the phone. This is Lo. Who sends that the same day? I stared at the floor. She wants me to see it. You should block her. No, why not? Because this pain, it's all I've got right now. James was silent. Then he sat beside me. I'm here, man. The doorbell rang. I didn't move. James answered. Who the hell are you? I'm Olivia. I work with Michael. I looked up. Olivia's eyes softened when she saw me. I heard what happened, she said gently. I just wanted to check in. James stepped back. Come in. She sat across from me. You look like someone unplugged your soul. I think they did. She glanced at the ring. You really loved her, didn't you? She was my future. And now? I laughed bitterly. Now I'm a joke. No, she said firmly. You're someone who got hurt. That doesn't make you a joke. I looked at her. Why are you here? Because you're human, and no one should go through this alone. For the first time that night, I felt something shift. Not hope, not healing, just the awareness that maybe I hadn't disappeared completely. People keep staring, I muttered. James glanced around the cafe. Let them. You didn't cheat. You got cheated on. They whisper like I'm contagious, I said, stirring my coffee. They're cowards. When real stuff happens, fake friends run. I looked out the window. I've lost half my contacts this week. They were never real then. David and Emily were real, I said quietly. James shook his head. You were too loyal to both of them. Loyalty doesn't mean a thing to people like that. I didn't reply. I just watched a couple laugh across the street. At work, I dropped a tray of reports. Again, Michael? Olivia called softly. I crouched, picking up papers. Sorry. She knelt beside me. You okay? I'm fine. She raised an eyebrow. You've broken something every day this week. I gave a weak laugh. Maybe I'm cursed. You look like a ghost, she whispered. I froze. Olivia didn't take it back, just waited. I looked down. It hurts more than I thought it would. Of course it does. She was going to be my wife, and David. I told him things I never told anyone. Olivia stood and helped me up. You don't have to explain. I'm just here. That night, I opened my fridge and stared at the wine Emily had left behind. I threw it into the trash. My phone buzzed again. A photo from someone at the office, Emily and David holding hands at a restaurant. James called immediately. Saw the picture. Yeah. You good? I'm breathing. That's something. I heard him sigh. Want to get out of town this weekend? No. I think I need to face this. He paused. You sure? Running won't fix it. Okay. But if you change your mind, say the word. Next morning, I walked into the office and Olivia handed me a coffee. You didn't have to. You looked like you needed it, she said with a small smile. I took it. Thanks. Later, I overheard coworkers whispering. Poor guy. He didn't see it coming. She moved on fast. I walked past them without a word. Olivia found me in the break room. Want to scream? I laughed. Would it help? Might. I stared at the vending machine. I think what hurts most is they never said sorry. She leaned against the counter. People like them don't say sorry. They justify. I hate that I miss her. That's normal. Even after everything. Olivia nodded. Your heart's still catching up to what your eyes already saw. I looked at her. Why are you so calm about all this? I've been through my own version, she said quietly. I nodded slowly. Did it ever stop hurting? It didn't, but I learned to live without the pain controlling me. How? One day at a time. And coffee, lots of coffee. I smiled for the first time in days. Maybe healing wasn't loud. Maybe it was quiet moments like this. I stared at my phone. A message blinked at the top. Sarah Thompson. I hadn't spoken to David's sister in over a year. I opened it. I didn't know they'd do this to you. I'm so sorry, Michael. I read it 3 times, then again. Another message popped in. Can we meet for coffee? I feel like I owe you that much. I replied before I could overthink. Sure. When? Tomorrow 10 a.m. Artist Cafe. I typed okay and tossed my phone on the couch. Why did she reach out now? The next morning, she was already waiting at the cafe, sipping tea. She stood when she saw me. You look thinner. Breakups do that. We sat. I looked at her. So why now? Sarah sighed. Because I had no idea, not until last week. You didn't know your brother stole my fiancée? I swear. I knew they'd been talking. I didn't know they were in love. Were they? I asked bitterly. She hesitated. I don't know. David never talks about love, just winning. Sounds like him. She stirred her tea. I told Dad. He was furious. My eyebrows lifted. Mr. Thompson? He said David doesn't deserve someone like Emily, that you were the better man. I scoffed. That's a weird compliment today. Sarah smiled sadly. Still, it means something. Dad always saw you. He offered me a handshake in silence when I dated Emily. He doesn't give praise easily, she said. But he meant it. Even now. I leaned back. Is this sympathy or guilt? Maybe both, she admitted. But mostly it's me trying to say you weren't invisible. I looked at her. That's the thing. I felt invisible after they left, like none of it ever mattered. It mattered, she said softly. I watched you treat her with kindness. My brother, he only knows possession. I stared at my untouched coffee. I keep thinking I missed a sign, something I should have noticed. There's no manual for betrayal. I met her eyes. I'm still angry. You should be. I keep imagining what I'd say if I saw them. What would you say? Nothing, I said. I'd just look at them, let them feel what they threw away. She nodded slowly. That's powerful. I want them to feel small. I whispered, even if just for a second. Sarah stood. Then, let them see you rise. Is that why you called me? She smiled faintly. Maybe. Or maybe I just missed talking to someone decent. As she left, I looked at my reflection in the cafe window. For the first time in weeks, I saw more than just pain. It came in a white envelope, thick and elegant, my name written in golden script. I didn't open it right away. I already knew. James walked in holding coffee. What's that? I held it up. Guess. He narrowed his eyes. No. Tell me you're kidding. I opened the envelope. Gilded letters, satin finish. Emily and David, together forever. Are you serious? He asked, snatching it. This is insane. They want me to come, I said. James tossed it onto the table. We should burn it. I stared at it. My chest ached. No. No, he said, eyes wide. You're going to keep it? Yes. Why? I picked it up again. Because this pain has to mean something. James exhaled. You're not okay. I know. Then why torture yourself? Because pretending it didn't happen doesn't help. He sat down across from me. You're not going, right? I didn't answer. Come on, man. I don't know yet. You owe them nothing. I looked at him. Maybe I owe myself the truth. James leaned back. You're scaring me. I laughed dryly. I scare myself. The doorbell rang again. Another envelope, this time from work. James said, if that's a baby announcement, I'm throwing it. I opened it. A note from Mrs. Whitmore, the company's board chair. Heard about your situation. Know you're stronger than this moment. Let's talk soon. Mrs. Whitmore? James asked, peeking. Yeah. She never writes anyone. I guess someone told her. He looked at both envelopes. Funny how life throws you hate mail and hope mail in the same day. I smiled faintly. Balance. James stood. Seriously though, if you go to that wedding, I'm tailing you with a fire extinguisher, in case you explode. I won't explode, I said. He raised an eyebrow. You'll implode. Quiet, controlled, devastating. I folded the invitation, slipped it back into the envelope. Keeping it, huh? He said again. I nodded. It's not about them anymore. Then what? I met his gaze. It's about me and what I do next. He clapped a hand on my shoulder. Just don't forget who you are. Maybe I'm still figuring that out. James paused. Well, whoever he is, he deserves better. I looked at the envelope one last time, then tucked it in the drawer. Not the trash, not today. Maybe never. But I wouldn't pretend it didn't matter. I stopped checking their social media. I stopped answering pity texts. I started waking up earlier, working later, talking less. Something's changed in you, Olivia said one night, handing me a coffee. I took it with a nod. I'm just focused. You look like a man building something, she said. Maybe I am. She smiled gently. You ever sleep? Sometimes. I paused. It's better than thinking. Olivia didn't push. She never did. At work, I took every project no one wanted, stayed through weekends, ate lunch at my desk. You trying to impress someone? Asked Jacob from accounting. No, just myself, I replied. Then one afternoon, I was called into the conference room. Mr. Thompson was waiting. Sit down, Michael. I did. He slid a folder across the table. You know we're expanding. I heard. He leaned back. We need someone steady, someone who won't cut corners. And you thought of me. He smiled. I've seen what you've become. You're not your friend. I blinked. You mean David? I do. What's in the folder? A partnership offer. You'd run the new division. I stared. Why me? Because you've earned it. I opened the folder slowly. Numbers, contracts, a future. You don't have to decide now, he said. I looked up. I already know. You do? I nodded. I want it. He shook my hand. My fingers didn't tremble this time. After work, I found Olivia waiting near the elevator. You're glowing, she said. Something happened. What? I think. I started living again. Olivia's eyes softened. It shows. We walked to the parking lot in silence, peaceful. You remember when I broke that printer? I asked suddenly. She laughed. Which time? The day after the breakup. Yeah, you kicked it. I wanted to kick everything. She nodded. But you didn't. You stayed. You rebuilt. I didn't have a choice. You did. And you chose you. I stopped walking. I chose me. You're proud. I exhaled. Yeah, I think I am. Olivia tilted her head. So what now? I start again. Not as the guy who got left behind, but as the guy who's building his own name. She smiled. Sounds powerful. It feels peaceful. She handed me her scarf. It's cold. Wear this. Thanks. You're different now, Michael. I hope so. She looked at me. It's a good different. I smiled. You helped. I just handed you coffee. You listened. That mattered. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I'll keep listening. I looked at the office behind us, the lights, the city. My name wasn't on the building yet, but it would be. And this time, I wouldn't let betrayal define me. I'd define myself. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it until I saw the message. Sarah, you're coming tomorrow, right? I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed, yeah. No clue why I said yes. Maybe to prove something. Maybe to myself. That night I told Olivia, you're actually going? She asked, eyes wide. I think I need to. For closure, maybe. For a reminder of how far I've come. Olivia crossed her arms. Then you need a suit that says that. Is that even a thing? She smirked. I'll find it. At the mall, she held up options like it was war strategy. This one says you've moved on. This one says you regret nothing. And this one, she held up a dark navy suit. What does that one say? That you're untouchable. I picked it. In the changing room, I stared at myself in the mirror. You look strong, Olivia said through the curtain. I don't feel strong. You don't have to. You just have to show up. I stepped out. Do I look like I've healed? No, she said. You look like someone who's still healing and still standing. That felt right. Back home, I sat on my bed, suit draped over the chair. I looked at it like it was armor. Sarah texted again. My dad will be happy to see you. Mr. Thompson. I still couldn't figure him out. Olivia messaged me too. Remember, you're not there for them. I replied, I know. I'm going for me. Then, I stared at the ceiling. My chest felt like it was holding its breath. I thought of Emily, the way she used to laugh at my jokes, the way her hand used to fit perfectly in mine. And then I remembered her voice when she said she was leaving. I'm sorry, Michael. I love him. I shook the memory off, let it go. I couldn't change the past, but I could decide how I'd face tomorrow. The next morning, Olivia picked me up. You sure you're ready? I don't know. You don't have to be. We pulled up to the venue. Big glass windows, too many flowers. You can still turn around, she said. I exhaled. No, I have to do this. For me. I stepped out, straightened my jacket, checked my reflection in the car window. Olivia squeezed my arm. You got this. I nodded. Let's go. The second I walked in, I felt every eye turn. A hush swept over the hall like someone had hit mute. David froze mid-laugh. Emily's smile twitched, then disappeared. I didn't flinch. I just walked forward, slow and steady, like this was any other wedding. Mr. Thompson stood near the front, beside a row of reserved seats. He caught my eye and nodded. Then he pointed to the seat next to him. Sit here, son. I didn't hesitate. I sat. And that single move said everything I couldn't. David's jaw clenched. Emily looked like she couldn't breathe. You clean up well. Mr. Thompson leaned in, whispering. Didn't expect to be front row. You earned it. Not all ties are broken, Michael. I just gave him a tight smile. Across the aisle, I could see Olivia sitting in the back. She nodded once. That was all I needed. The ceremony started. Soft music played as bridesmaids walked, followed by groomsmen. David stood tall, trying too hard. I could see the nervous twitch in his hand. Then Emily appeared, in a white dress, her bouquet trembling slightly. Her eyes scanned the crowd until they landed on me. She faltered, her steps slowing. She stared at me like I wasn't supposed to be real. David turned to look at her, then followed her gaze and found me. He blinked, visibly shaken. When Emily reached the altar, David tried to take her hand. She hesitated a second too long before letting him. I leaned back in my seat, my expression calm. Mr. Thompson chuckled under his breath. You've unsettled the whole room without saying a word. I didn't come to cause a scene. You didn't need to. Just being here was enough. The vows began. The officiant spoke with a rehearsed warmth. David's voice cracked slightly as he read his. Emily's eyes kept flicking toward me. She didn't smile once. I watched, silent and unreadable. I didn't need revenge in the loud, screaming way. This silence, this presence, was louder. When they reached the part about forever, Emily hesitated, only for a second, but I saw it. David noticed too. He glanced at me again, panic flashing in his eyes. I didn't blink. I stayed composed. I was no longer the man they abandoned. I was something they couldn't control anymore. When the official asked if anyone objected, the room stiffened. No one said a word, but I felt the weight of unspoken truths fill the air. Then came the applause, but it felt hollow. As they walked down the aisle, David looked at me like he wanted to say something. Emily looked like she already knew she had made a mistake. Mr. Thompson patted my shoulder. You changed the story today, Michael. I didn't need to say a word. Exactly. Emily kept stealing glances at me. I didn't look away. David stood beside her, clueless or maybe pretending to be. She mouthed something. I'm sorry. I tilted my head like I didn't quite catch it. She blinked fast, swallowed hard, and her hands trembled. David noticed. You okay? I'm fine, she whispered, her eyes still locked on me. I raised my glass just slightly, a silent toast. She looked away first. The officiant cleared his throat. Now for the vows. David smiled wide, holding her hand. I zoned out as he spoke. His words meant nothing to me. Instead, I watched Emily. Her lips moved, but her eyes kept darting to mine. She was falling apart slowly. Regret was loud in her silence. She clutched the ring tighter, as if holding on to something already slipping. David leaned in to place the ring on her finger. I leaned back, my expression unreadable. Emily looked up at me again. That look, it wasn't of course it was lost. It was what if. I whispered under my breath. You will be. David flinched like he heard something. What? Nothing, Emily said too quickly. They kissed, and there was polite applause. I clapped twice, slowly. David looked unsettled. Emily looked shattered. Olivia caught my eye from the back, nodding once. Mr. Thompson leaned in. You all right? I've never been clearer. Your silence screamed louder than any outburst could have. I exhaled deeply. It wasn't revenge. It was presence. It was power. And Emily, she finally saw the man I'd become. Too late. The reception was winding down when she found me. Emily. I saw her approach, but I didn't move. I didn't even flinch. She stopped a few steps away, hands clasped in front of her. I messed up, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I took a long breath, staring at the floor for a second before looking up at her. The ring on her finger gleamed under the lights. She wasn't just apologizing for the affair. She was apologizing for everything. The lies, the betrayal, the pain she caused. You made your choice, I replied, my tone calm but firm. And I made mine. Emily's eyes welled up, the tears gathering but not falling. Michael, Stop. I cut her off, holding up a hand. I don't need your apology. Not anymore. She looked at me, stunned, as if I had just taken away the last of her hope. I didn't feel anger. I didn't even feel sad. I felt empty, but in a way that was peaceful. You chose him. Now I'm choosing me. She looked like she wanted to say something more, but I turned away, walking past her without another word. Olivia was waiting by the car. She didn't ask. She just opened the door. You okay? She asked softly as I got in. I nodded, staring ahead, feeling the weight of everything fall off my shoulders. Yeah, I said, my voice steady. Actually, I think I am. The sun had just dipped below the horizon when I sat down to write. My hands were steady as I opened the journal and began the final entry. The words felt different now, like they weren't coming from a place of anger or sadness anymore. She left me for what looked better. I stayed and became better. I paused, reflecting on those words. How much had changed in the past few months? My life, once shattered, had started to rebuild itself. It wasn't about revenge or proving anyone wrong. It was about me, the person I was becoming, the person I wanted to be. Olivia was sitting on the couch, her eyes soft as she looked over at me. She didn't ask what I was writing, but I knew she was curious. She always was. I closed the journal and set it down on the table. The weight of it had been lifted, and I felt lighter than I had in years. Olivia walked over, sitting beside me. She rested her head on my shoulder, her touch warm. Tell me something real, she murmured. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of everything settle into place. For the first time, I wasn't afraid of the future. I wasn't afraid of being alone or of what I had lost. I turned my head toward her, my eyes meeting hers. I think I finally forgave myself. The words felt like a weight that had been sitting on my chest for too long had finally been lifted. The past, the pain, it was all a part of me now, but it no longer controlled me. I had control of my life. I had control of my peace. Olivia smiled, a quiet understanding passing between us. She didn't need to say anything more. I didn't need to either. We both knew. I was no longer the person I had been before. I had found my way back to myself. And in that moment, I realized this was my new beginning.